Hey guys, Jory here, guest host of the Exit Light podcast on the Exit Light channel on YouTube. And today we are continuing the celebration of the 31 days of Halloween. I will be telling you a couple of ghost stories as if pulled from Reddit, but in continuing the tradition of this channel, I have actually written these stories and have not pulled them from Reddit. So with that in mind, turn off the lights, kick back, get yourself something cold or hot, whatever you prefer to drink, and let's get this started. Hi, I'm telling you this story after coming to your site and seeing numerous people tell their stories, helping me feel like maybe I'm not alone or crazy in this world. I am a 19-year-old female student attending college in the northeastern part of the United States. The college and the dorm I'm living in were built sometime in the 1800s, and from my recent research, started off as an orphanage before becoming a school in the 1920s. My story begins my first night in the dorm. I stayed up late because of my jitters from being away from my family for the first time. That and my roommate snores really loud. Eventually, at around 3 a.m., I finally drifted off to sleep and went into a dream where I was running frantically down a hallway, crying uncontrollably. I didn't know why I was running, or even crying, but I did recognize the hallway as the one outside my door. The anguish I felt was overwhelming as I raced down the hall, crying my eyes out. And then suddenly, I turned towards the stairs, my dorm room being on the second floor, and I fell down them. I woke up from the dream instantly upon impact, with tears streaming down my face and my roommate standing above me staring at me. She said she awoke to me screaming and crying incoherently and tried to wake me up for several minutes. I told her about my dream, and after being silent for a moment, told me that earlier in the day at orientation, that one of the older students, acting as a guide, told her that the building was haunted by the spirit of a girl who died here in the 1960s. Supposedly, her and a boy she had snuck into her room were experimenting with drugs. The boy went unconscious, and the girl, thinking he died, ran from the room screaming and crying for help. When she reached the stairs, she lost her footing and fell down the whole flight, killing her instantly when she reached the bottom. Sadly, according to the story, the boyfriend didn't pass away, and upon learning of his girlfriend's death, left the school and was never seen again. They say she wanders the hallways looking for his spirit, still believing that he passed away that night. Though her story made me think of my dream, I brushed it off because I thought I was having an hallucination from exhaustion. A few days later, I was by myself in our room studying when I heard the soft sobs of someone crying outside of my door. Thinking it was my roommate playing a prank, I ignored her and went back to my work. After a few minutes of studying, the sobbing turned into what sounded like people running up and down the hallway. The prank, I thought, was getting old. I didn't have time for these games. And so out of frustration, I shot up out of bed and threw open the door quickly to yell at my roommate. Only when I opened the door, the noises stopped, and there was no one there. I went into the hallway and searched all over, but couldn't find my roommate, or anyone else for that matter. As it turned out, I was the only person in the entire building that night, and when my roommate finally returned from her night out, she said she never came back, much less played a prank on me. I have more stories to tell, but I will leave you here for now. I didn't used to believe in ghosts, but after that dream, and everything else that has happened to me since, and seeing everyone's stories on this forum, I know ghosts exist. Hey guys, my name is Steve, and I wanted to share a story of what happened to me at my new job. I work overnights at a local gas station, and on my first overnight shift, the manager in charge, to spook me, told me that things get really eerie in the AM hours and that I should keep myself busy so that I don't notice. I shrugged it off, thinking I was just being picked on. That night, nothing happened, and when I called my manager out on it, all he could say was, "Guess I kept you pretty busy," with a chuckle. The next night at around 2:30 a.m., my manager left me to run the front of the store while he counted out all the tills for the day. I was cleaning the nacho cheese pump, getting lost in the overhead music, and waiting for a customer to show, when suddenly I heard the front doors open, even heard the motion sensor go off. I turned to greet the customer, but no one was there. I went to the front of the store, still not seeing anyone, then opened the door to look outside. No car at the pumps or parked outside other than mine and my manager's. I thought it was weird, but went back inside, went back to the nacho pump, and started cleaning again. Before I could finish, I heard the door open again, motion sensor going off. I whipped around quickly to see no one there. I threw down the rag and started towards the door again, but stopped in my tracks when a candy rack tipped over in front of me and threw candy everywhere. As I stood there in shock, I heard a loud bang, like a gun going off, right in my ear. I noped it out of there back to my manager's office, who, before I could say anything, said, "Did you just hear a gunshot? Are you okay?" After I told him what happened to me, he joked, saying that I must have been slacking off for such an extreme experience to happen to me, but did say that numerous other people have told him about the same thing happening to them. When day shift came in to relieve us, the opening clerk, who worked there for years, told me after I confided in him that there was a robbery here in the mid-90s. When the robber came in, a customer spooked him when he reached for something in his pockets, and he shot the customer right in the chest, knocking over several items around him. The clerk actually witnessed the shooting himself and wanted to quit, but stayed on because the owner was also a family friend. He said I probably saw a spiritual recreation of what happened that day, and he wouldn't blame me for quitting. I haven't quit yet, but have asked for a transfer to day shift. I'll make this brief, as this just happened 20 minutes ago, and I just got to my friend's house to get away and collect my thoughts. I live in a one-story house with a basement, renting it from my grandmother, and the house has always given me the creeps, even when I was a boy when my grandparents lived there. But tonight took on a whole new spooky for me. I was in the basement where my room is, never moved it upstairs, as the room was mine as a kid, and I was playing a video game. I saw my cat come into the room. She likes the couch I keep in the corner of my room. I greeted her, which she ignored, and then went back to playing my game. A few moments later, I could hear heavy breathing coming from behind me. Thinking it was the cat, I turned around, only to see that she wasn't on the couch, or even near the couch, or even there. I shrugged and turned around and went back to playing my game, even though I could still hear the breathing. After a few moments, the room suddenly got super cold, and it felt like someone was in the room with me. I couldn't handle it anymore, especially feeling as spooked out as I was, and I ran out of the room as fast as I could, only turning when I reached the stairs. And when I did, I saw a tall, black figure in my doorway looking right at me. I didn't stick around. I got out of the house as fast as I could and came to my friend's house. I am not going back tonight, and I doubt I will anytime soon. If anyone can help me figure this out, please let me know, and I appreciate you listening to my story. Thank you.